Greetings. Maybe you already know me, but once again I should introduce myself. This is Anita Narang here, the entrepreneur. In our previous post published on 1st June 2022, we had discussed nouns as a monthly version of the from for an exclusive way of English to Minnow, the language spectrum under the first level, the basics of English language. Now the next presentation of English to Minnow that we will discuss today is the article layout, components, process, analogy under the third level of the same vein, that is advanced level. However, as the saying goes, brevity is the soul of wit. So without wasting your precious time and beating around the bush, let us come to the point. As you see in the picture, the term article can be defined as a piece of written composition in prose, comprising a theme, a complete unit, usually non-fiction, for publication in a newspaper, any magazine, or a virtual educational organization or media is termed as an article. It can be written on any topic, as it may be a current issue or a social or political concept or a health and medicine point. De facto, the list is pretty long. So we can say that an article can be written on any topic irrespective of modern and ancient trends. A well-crafted piece of writing not only showcases the overall design of a brain, but also shows the emotional writing and intellectual skills of its designer that have the strength to make or mar a nation, an individual, or a social structure. To be the business of writing, there are not any set of rules. Rather, 50% of the entire piece of any writing depends upon the intellectual sharpness, individual interests and tastes, perspectives, linguistic expertise, and competence of any writer. How high he or she glides on the flight of imagination, creativity, and the rest of 50% depends on how firmly he holds the tools of a particular language. The medium in which he is going to write, the language. To sum up, we can say the entire process, tools, analogy can be divided according to the priority of the role these components play to design a good and impressive draft of an exclusive piece of writing. As you can see, I have attempted to facilitate the scenario. Let us see how it works. One point I should make clear that there are rules in all the languages, and in grammar part we can follow the rules to some extent, like 90%, and 10% there are exceptions. And at that point we are supposed to use our common sense and our intellect. In the same way, articles in the part of writing any article or any composition, there are no hard and fast rules. Of course, there is layout, but we can follow the layout, which is there is a format, but specific format for a particular piece of writing. We can follow that format layout, but we cannot always stick to the rules because there are exceptions, and our intellect and our common sense is always required. Roughly, the components have to be put as number one is, you can see, content plus knowledge plus creativity. These three things combined together play 50% role in the composition of an article. Creativity means how innovative you are in your imagination, how new ideas, how many new ideas are there in your mind, and creativity, knowledge, and any topic on which you are going to write. Of course, you should have knowledge about that particular, enough knowledge, sufficient knowledge about that particular knowledge topic. And third part is content. Content means we should first decide before writing any article that what should be the body, the content of our particular writing. So 50% part, half of the part of a composition depends on the content plus knowledge plus creativity of the writer. Now the next part is number 2, grammar plus word power plus expressions. In grammar, there are so many tools which can enhance the meaning of a particular piece of writing, which can make it impressive and deeper in meaning. So, grammar also have some tools like word power. Sometimes we feel tongue-tied. We have thoughts, we have expressions, we have everything, but we are short of words. We are at a loss of words. So it depends how rich is our word power. If our word power is rich, we can express ourselves. And since language is a vehicle for expression, so in order to express our thoughts and feelings and emotions, of course we should have a medium, and that medium is language. And if we don't have full command over a language, we cannot write a piece which is impressive and deeper in meaning and enhance the meaning of a particular piece of writing. So this part plays 25% role in the composition of, of an article. Next part is 3. Fluency plus structural correctness. Structural correctness means the accuracy. How many mistakes and errors are there in your piece of writing? It depends on how your article is considered and viewed and reviewed and incited by your viewers, readers, and subscribers. Fluency means each and every sentence, each and every idea, each and every thought should be interconnected, and all the paragraphs and sentences should be interconnected. If you lose the connection, the reader loses the interest in that particular piece of writing. So if you want to make your writing impressive and successful, there should be fluency plays very important part. And structural correctness means how many errors are there. I can give you one example that suppose you write a piece of writing in 500 words and there are 100 mistakes, then you are going to spoil your writing. And if 2-3 mistakes are there, it doesn't matter. So minor things are ignored. But as the saying goes, even nectar is poison if taken in excess. So excess of everything is bad, and excess of errors is also bad. If too many errors and mistakes are there, the reader is going to reject your piece of writing. Next part is, and this part is plays 10% role in the composition, in the formation of a composition. Next is research plus reading plus critical approach. Research is statistical data. Suppose we are going to express our views, we are going to write our thoughts and emotions, but in order to justify our ideas, we should have some quotations, some statistical data to provide in a piece of writing, so that we can convince the reader that this particular piece of writing is an authentic piece of writing. Plus reading, there is a very famous writer in English literature, that is Bacon. He says, reading maketh a full man. Reading is multifolded benefits are there of reading. It not only enriches our vocabulary, our word power, but also improves our reading, it improves our knowledge, increases our knowledge, and uh, improves our language also, writing skill also. So a lot of reading. We should set a regular time, a period of time we should devote for reading, reading newspapers, listening to news, and such type of things are required. And of course, if you will see that this is my assurance that if I'm very much sure that if you listen to the news and you read the newspaper and you read the English magazines, there is no doubt that after 1 month you'll see the improvement. And this part plays 10% part of the article, right? Next and the last part is layout plus structural confinement. Means we have to decide before writing what should be the length of our piece of writing. Like, of course, you can understand very well that there is a difference in the standard of a piece of writing according to the standard of means demographic details should be there. Demographic means we should decide for what age we are going to write. We are writing for kids, we are writing for children, or we are writing for grown-ups or intellectuals. And there is a lot of difference. And that standard, we should maintain the standard according to the level of the readers. That is, suppose we are writing for kids, our language should be easy, vocabulary should be easy, and if we are writing for an intellectual, the standard of word power and our use of language should be according to the level of those intellectuals. Only then that piece of composition is accepted by the people and appreciated by them. Now we come to structural confinement. It plays 5% role. Structural confinement is, and the same idea is there in as we have to decide first what is the age, what is the level of our readers before writing. In the same way, we have to decide the length of a particular piece of writing, because if our piece of writing have 1000 words, 2000 words, a kid is not patient enough to read the article thoroughly. He or she will lose the interest in that particular writing and reject it immediately. And if you write the same piece of writing in 2000 words for an intellectual, he will not mind it at all and read it very easily. So we have to stick to the word limit. Yes, first we should decide what should be the word limit, and the same idea is there as I gave you the example that if excess of everything is bad, even nectar is poison if taken in excess. So if too many words are exceeded, like if we have to write in 500 and we 500 words and we write we exceed to 6000 words, it is too much. And if 2-3 words are exceeded, 10 words are exceeded, it doesn't matter. So we have to stick to this layout. Finally, besides, it's a good means of money for GEM. I have drawn the same notion on this slide where a statistical chart as I said previously. Maybe it's too mathematical in tone, but since we are living in an age running at a fast pace, so it's always better to take the shortest route to accomplish the mission. Besides, it's a good idea. It's a good means of money for GEM as a content writer or a freelancer in the virtual world. To wind up, I would explore to protect our flora and fauna. As you can see in the graphical and pictorial presentation, as these species are on the verge of extinction and the supporters of ecological balance. We are very well aware that COVID-19 is there and environmental degradation is there. So this is the duty of each and every citizen to preserve environmental flora and fauna. Only one person cannot change the world. So each and every person have to extend a helping hand. Only then the issue is going to disappear. So it is very difficult, though this is very difficult to completely eliminate this slur from the country or the world. You may be very well aware that this pollution, the environmental degradation is there in all over the world. So we have to consider it seriously, and at least we can do that. We can put some water in a bowl on the roof of our houses, and we can offer some tidbits to the birds and try to save these species. As you can watch on the slide, on the upper part of the slide, the terminology of the article has been given, and then statistical data is there. You can see two blocks in 24% and 23%. In 24% there is content plus creativity. The same ideas are, the same thing is going to be repeated in these slides, which I have discussed earlier, that creativity and content are very important. This is the highest priority level for content and creativity. The second level of priority is knowledge, ideas plus grammar. These three things are very important. Secondary after content and creativity. For content and creative ideas, we don't borrow the words of others, and our authenticity is there in the writing. So our writing is going to be appreciated. And knowledge, of course, we should have sufficient ample knowledge of that particular topic on which we are going to write. Next, on the left side, you can say word power. As we discussed previously, word power, how rich our word power is there. You know, there are synonyms, proverbs, maxims, and antonyms, synonyms, acronyms, homophones. These things are there. So, if the treasure, the fund of our vocabulary, word power is good, rich, of course, we are going to write an influential piece of writing. Next is which plays 5% role, that is organization of ideas and conclusion. We should know that we should have critical analysis of a particular critical analyzation skill. We should have comparative study and statistical data of that particular topic on which we are going to write. On right side, you can see fluency, as I told you previously, that each and every idea should be, and all the sentences should be interconnected, and all the paragraphs should be interconnected. If we lose the connection, the reader is going to lose the interest and going to reject the piece of writing. First is revision. You can become the editor of your own piece of writing if you revise these things very frequently. At least you extend 2-3 revisions to your piece of writing, and you will find that you will pick up your own errors and mistakes, and you are going to refine your piece of writing. In this way, you are going to be successful. And one more thing you can see, that is the word coder has been used here. What is coder? This word has been borrowed from a book of CBSE of secondary level, an interactive reader, English reader, that is main course for coder. Now I should explain the abbreviation coder. Coder, C stands for collect ideas. Before writing a piece of any composition, we have to collect ideas. O stands for organize them. D stands for draft them, and E stands for editing, revision, and R for revision. So collect ideas, organize them, draft them, revise them, and finally edit them. This is the key to write an error-free and impressive piece of writing which is going to be appreciated. On the right side, you can see language tools, and you can see 3 R's are there. 3 R's, what are these 3 R's? Number 1 is R stands for read. As I told you earlier, that reading is very much important. Reading is going to improve your language, overall knowledge of your language. Next is, second R is research. We should have knowledge, particular data, ample data, sufficient data to prove, to justify our expressions and our ideas. Last R is revise. This thing is going to be repeated, is being repeated again and again. So revision is very much important. The more you revise your piece of writing, the more accurate it becomes, and the more it is appreciated. So you can see one more demographics. As I told you earlier, before writing anything, we have to decide what are our audience, what are our readers, what is the standard, what is the level of our readers and subscribers. And next, you can see one example of sales flora and fauna. As I told you earlier, that we have to, these species are on the verge of extinction, and these are the preservation of supporters of our environment. So we have to save them. Finally, I would like to end this talk with we'll meet soon in our next post. And thank you very much. Stay tuned. Keep reading. Keep healthy. Now we come to the next slide. Till now, we had discussed that uh, all the tools, all the requirements to write a good article according to their priority. Now, second slide, one thing, the same thing has been repeated. That is coder. As I told you previously, collect ideas. These stands for collect ideas. O stands for organize them, and D stands for draft them. E stands for edit them, and R stands for revision. So these things we have already discussed. I think there is no need to repeat them again and again. Next is on left side you can see Nick. We should have knowledge. First we should decide what should be the Nick. Nick is the title, the subject of a article. Next is tools. We should have tools as we discussed previously that we should have grammar, strong grammar grip. The basics of grammar should be clear, and word power, maxims, all these things play synonyms, antonyms, acronyms, homophones. All these things are when combined together, they form a very good vocabulary. And if our vocabulary is good, enriched, enriched, so we are never going to feel and tongue or nervous before writing anything. Next is critical analysis. As I discussed previously, we should have evaluation efficiency. How to evaluate a particular situation, a particular topic on the basis of analytical data, how to assess it, and how to on the as a comparative study of different facts and figures in support of to justify the idea you are going to justify the expression you are going to write in your articles. Next is premium concepts. You should have very premium statistical data. Is very important data in support of your writing. I think the same things are being repeated again and again. Critical analysis, same thing. Research, we have discussed already. You can see 3 R's are there. What are these 3 R's? First R is reading. There is a very famous writer in English literature, Bacon. He says, reading maketh a full man. Means a man is incomplete. And a human being is incomplete if he or she does not read anything. So, reading has multifold benefits, advantages. It not only enriches your word power, improves your grammar, but also improves your level of knowledge and level of intellectual level also. So this reading is very much required each and every person. I think, in my point of view, all of us should develop a reading habit. Set a definite particular time daily for reading, regularly daily. Sometimes should be devoted for reading. So we should listen. We can listen news also. We can read newspaper. We can read magazines. Anything news. So this is going to improve our overall grip over a particular language. Next is research. As I told you before, that we have to research. We have to find out facts and figures to justify the right piece of writing. Next is last is revision. As I told you, you yourself is going to become your own editor if you revise your piece of writing again and again. So at least two or three revisions should be must be given to any piece of writing, and you'll find that your piece of writing has been refined and has become perfect and exclusive. Next, now we finish here. That's the end of our talk today. Now, finally, I would to wind up. I would implore to protect our flora and fauna. As you can see in the graphical and pictorial representation, as these species are on the verge of extinction, you can see that there is COVID-19, and yeah, I think you might be aware that the whole this environmental degradation is there on international level. Pollution is there in all over the world. So one person cannot change the world. So individually, if we extend the helping hand, the problem, the smell is going to disappear, vanish from our society, from our nation, because health is wealth. If we are healthy mentally as well as physically, we can do anything. It has been also said that if money is lost, nothing is lost. Health is lost, something is lost. And character is lost, everything is lost. So we should concentrate on health. If health, as it has also been said that health is wealth and a strong mind resides in a strong body. So please, we can do one minor thing that we can put some water in a bowl and keep it on the roofs of our houses, and we can offer some tidbits for these species for birds which have disappeared from the sky. Previously, in olden time, we used to see birds used to fly in the air. So that's the end of talk today. I have taken much of your precious time. Thank you very much. We will meet soon, and stay tuned and healthy. Have a nice time. Thank you very much.